So this is a very relaxing sequence that's all done on the back, so really good for those days when you're just feeling very tired, you've been on your legs all day. Today I've been digging, so I just really wanted to do a very relaxing practice. So we're going to start in Shavasana, so lying down and just completely surrendering the body to the floor, feet flopping out to the side, arms away from the side, palms up, relaxing the jaw and just feeling the body become very heavy, just really feeling that support beneath you and just surrendering to that support. And just to encourage a releasing practice, we're going to do left nostril breathing. Take your first finger over your right nostril and take some slow deep breaths in and out through the left nostril. This is our left side is our yin side, our female moon side, Chandra. So it's the energy of release, stillness, surrender, being, not doing. And this is the energy we want to bring into this practice. The slow deep breaths, full inhales, full complete exhales through the left nostril. And then release your right hand back to the mat and just take a couple more slow, deep, conscious breaths through both nostrils, filling the lungs, stretching the skin of the torso with the inhale, and following each exhale out to full completion. Right at the end of the exhale, you feel that slight contraction of the abdominals, just to squeeze the last of the air out. And then bring the legs together, take the arms overhead, palms facing each other, activate the legs by pushing through the heels, toes to the ceiling, strong through the body, pushing the lowest ribs into the mat. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, draw the right knee in towards the chest, bring the hands forward, interlace the hands either around the front of the right shin or the back of the right knee, and take some circles into the right ankle. Inhale, ease off the stretch, and exhale, draw that knee in again, but this time slightly out to the side towards the right armpit, and take circles in the opposite direction into the ankle. Really squeeze that thigh in towards the chest, relaxing the shoulders and the jaw. And then bring the hand to the outer edge of the foot if you can, or the ankle or wrist on the back of the knee, but the knee is still wide towards the armpit and the shin is vertical, foot flex into half happy baby. And you can press your left hip bone down towards the floor to encourage that left buttock to stay on the mat as you just allow gravity to draw right knee down towards right armpit. And bring the knee back to the centre. Give one more squeeze of the knee in towards the chest, and extend the right leg up towards the ceiling. Interlace the hands around the back of the thigh now, pushing through left heel, and find that stretch on the back of the right leg. Pushing through the heel, toes to the shin. If you're more open, hands can be higher up the leg, but don't over push it. We're just easing out. This is an easing out, releasing practice. Take hold of the outer edge of the right leg with the left hand or the foot if available, and I like to hook my right fingers into the right hip crease to keep the buttock on the floor as I take the foot towards the centre line, keep pushing through the heel. It's not a big movement, but we're trying to find a stretch down the outside of the right leg, IT band. And then deepen this stretch by taking the leg all the way over to the left side now, letting yourself roll with it on the left leg. And look out over your right shoulder. You can bend the right knee if this is too intense for the lower back, and you can lose the connection with the right foot and the left hand. Option here to bend the left leg, the one that's still on the floor, towards the buttock and take hold of the top of that left foot with the right hand for cat's tail. Totally optional. If you're taking cat's tail, make sure that right shoulder's still releasing down towards the floor. And if this is cramping up the left hamstring in any way, just avoid, just skip that bind. Use your core to bring the right leg back to the centre. Give it one more just gentle pull towards the face, interlacing the hands around the back of the thigh or holding the foot. Stretch the arms out overhead, palms facing each other, and with control lower that right leg all the way down to the floor. keeping left buttock on the floor. Bring everything back to central alignment, making any adjustments you need. So we're back in this starting position, pushing through both heels, toes to the ceiling, reaching the hands back. And as you exhale, bring the left knee in towards the chest now. Hands interlaced around the shin or the back of the knee and taking circles into the left ankle. Change the direction of the ankle circles. Relax the shoulders and the jaw. Inhale to ease off that stretch, knee up a little bit, and as you exhale, draw the knee back in, but this time offsetting it towards the left armpit, so slightly different, opening for the hip. And really squeeze the thigh in towards the belly, towards the chest here. We're kind of compressing the digestive organs, giving ourselves an internal massage. Keep pushing through that right heel. And then half happy baby, so you can use your right hand to anchor the right hip bone. You can take hold of the outer edge of the left foot or ankle or back of the knee. Knee is bent, shin vertical, flexing the foot and just allowing gravity to draw that left knee towards left armpit. Deep breaths, buttocks on the floor, knee back towards the centre, one more squeeze into the chest, and then interlace the hands around the back of the thigh or possibly higher up the leg. Push through the heel of both legs, toes to the shin. If at any point there's too much cramping on the lower back, you can always bend the leg that's extended on the floor. Otherwise both legs active. Not overstretching, just finding your edge, breathing into it. And we're kind of pushing the thigh back against the hands as we pull a little bit on the thigh for active stretching. And then we're coming towards our IT band stretch. So from here you can use your left fingertips to hook into the left hip crease, take the right hand to the outer edge of the leg or possibly the foot, and keeping left buttock on the floor, bring the leg towards the centre line, keep pushing the heel away till you feel that stretch on the outer edge of the leg. If you don't feel that stretch, don't worry, it probably just means that your hamstrings are tight and you're still feeling it more in the hamstring. And that's all good. Okay, starting to deepen this stretch, so taking the left foot all the way over to the right now and allowing that right foot to roll with it, so you're rolling passively onto the outer edge of the right ankle, extending the left arm out to the side, looking over the left shoulder, relax through the left shoulder. To make this easier, you can release the bind of the right hand to left foot and you can bend the left leg. Otherwise, if you're keeping the bind, keep active through the left leg. Option to take cat's tail, where you bend the right heel towards the buttock and use your left hand to take hold of the top of the foot, keeping that left shoulder releasing down towards the floor. It might take a few breaths to find release around that left shoulder blade and to bring the whole of the upper back to the mat. So just use your breath to release tension. And the deep breaths show the body you're safe, so you can release. Use the core to bring yourself back to the centre. One more hamstring stretch, so interlace the hands around the back of that left leg, flex through the heel, and inhale the hands overhead, and again with core control, slowly lowering the left leg all the way down to the mat. Adjust to bring yourself back to central alignment, reach through the fingertips, push through the heels, toes to the ceiling, and then both knees into the chest. Interlacing the hands around the front of the knees or the back of the knees, keeping the feet flexed and keeping the whole of the back on the mat here, including the sacrum. Relax the shoulders. Outer hip stretch. Bring the left foot to the floor, knee bent. Flex the right foot and place the outer ankle on the front of the left thigh, toes pointing up towards the knee. Reach the right hand underneath the right leg, left hand around the outside, and interlace hands around the front of the left shin or behind the left knee and draw the left bent leg towards you, keeping the left foot relaxed, but keep active in the right foot. Keep flexing through the right foot, pushing through the heel so the toes stay pointing up towards the left knee. I'm looking for the stretch on the outer right hip, so if you don't feel anything, just draw the left knee a little bit closer towards you. Release the left foot back down, take the arms out to the side, keep the shape of the legs and just allow everything to come over towards the left. So your right knee will stay high and eventually your right sole of the foot will be down on the floor. And you can look over the right shoulder. I like to use my left hand to press the inner right thigh away from me a little bit just to increase the stretch down the right side waist, but that's an option. You can keep the hand on the floor. Deep breaths. This is a strong release for the hips as well as getting a spinal twist. There's a lot going on, so use deep breaths to release. Use your core, can come back to the centre on an inhale and swap sides. So flex that left foot, place the outer ankle on the front of the right thigh, feed left hand through the gap, right hand around the outside, and draw the right shin towards you. Keep the left foot very active and flexed, pressing through the heels, but keep the right foot relaxed. And remember, if it's too much of a reach to hold the front of the right shin, just hold the back of the knee instead. Relaxing the shoulders and the jaw, keeping as much of the back on the mat as possible. Deep breaths. Follow each exhale out to its full completion. And release, bring the right foot back to the floor, and again keep the shape. It's kind of this number 4 shape, and we keep the shape as we just allow everything to come over to the right side until the sole of the left foot comes down but the knee stays high. An option, if it works for you, doesn't work for everyone, to just gently push the inner left thigh away from you. For me, it opens up around the left hip a little bit more. Releasing left shoulder blade to the floor and turn to look over left shoulder. And breathe. Deep breaths in and out through the nose. And slowly come back to the centre, a little bit of core awareness. Release the legs. Supta Baddha Konasana, bring the soles of the feet together, knees wide, heels to the groins, and holding the outer edges of the feet, all the ankles, or wherever you can reach. Just drawing those heels in and down, relaxing the shoulders. Deep breaths. These are all releasing postures for the lower back, the inner hips, the outer hips. And then taking an option to straighten the legs here, or just stay exactly where you are. But if you want Supta Upavishta, you're just pushing the feet into the hands to straighten the legs for a few more breaths. If that's too much, just stay exactly where you were, a few more breaths. If you're in Supta Upavishta, very active legs. Coming back to feet together, bring the knees together, release the legs down to the floor again, and relax. Now take the arms overhead, hold opposite elbows, step the left foot over to the left so it's off the mat, and cross the right foot on top of the left foot, and then shuffle the torso over to the left as well. We're creating a banana shape, but keep the buttocks on the floor and keep both shoulder blades on the floor. So you should feel this strong stretch down the right side of the body, all the way from the ankles up to the elbows. Breathe into that stretch. Remember, both buttocks on the floor, as much of the back as possible on the floor, both shoulder blades on the floor. If your right side peels off, you've gone too far. Bring the legs slightly back to the centre line. I love this stretch for how it really gets into the side body. And then to come out, uncross the right leg, bring the legs back to the centre, shuffle the torso back to the centre, cross the bind of the elbows over, step right foot off to the right, so it's just off the mat, cross left foot on top of right, shuffle the torso over to the right, so you're contracted in the right side of the body now and extended and stretched through the left side. Again, make sure both shoulder blades are on the floor, both buttocks are on the floor, as much of the back as possible on the floor. If the shoulders are tight, the elbows might not be down. You might, if you have a blanket or a cushion, you might put those underneath the elbows. Deep breaths into the left side. And then uncross the left foot, bring it back to the centre, bring the right foot back to the centre, shuffle the torso back to the centre, just check everything's centrally aligned, and then we'll take Happy Baby. So now both knees are bent towards the armpits, shins are vertical, feet flexed, you're holding the outer edges of the feet if that's available, otherwise the ankles, or draping the inner wrists against the back of the knees. Either way, we secure the knees towards the armpits with the shins vertical. And release as much of the back to the mat as possible, including the sacrum, the lowest part of the spine. No tension in the face and the jaw. I kept my eyes closed through this whole practice pretty much, so you might want to try closing the eyes. Bring the knees together. Take the elbows out to the side in line with the shoulders and cactus shape to the arms, so right angle at the elbows, palms facing up. We're going to do a little bit of conscious core work. Inhale, center, and exhale, bring both bent knees over to the right, keeping the feet flexed. Inhale back to the center, exhale, knees over to the left. Keep the opposite shoulder blade and elbow glued to the floor. Inhale, center, exhale, knees to the right, left shoulder blade pinned down, feet flexed. Inhale, center, exhale, knees to the left, inner thighs together, feet flexed. Inhale, center, exhale, knees over to the right. So really using our deep postural muscles here to support us. One more time, both sides with your breath rhythm. You can do this with straight legs, it's much more difficult, but I was enjoying a more relaxed pace today. And we're going to do a little bit more core. So first option is just to cross the arms with the elbows pointing upwards and cross the knees, cross the thighs, and bring the elbows and the knees together as you exhale and inhale, release. Full posture is Gurmakasana, eagle arms and legs, where we wrap everything. So we're exhaling up to meet elbows to knees and inhaling, releasing feet to the floor, releasing hands to the floor. Exhale, squeeze, elbows meet knees. Inhale, release, feet to the floor, fingertips touch down. I'm going to do 5 of these. So you can be in the previous position with just the thighs crossed and the elbows crossed, or full wrapped position. Swap sides, so swap the cross of the arms, swap the cross of the legs, take the foot bind and the arm bind if you wish. Exhale, elbows meet knees. Inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze, bring everything up. Inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release. One more. Exhale, elbows meet knees. Inhale, release. 5 times. And then unravel your arms and your legs. Just pause in this knock knee position, so feet wide, inner knees resting against each other, and just keeping that elbows crossed and pointing up towards the ceiling for a moment. It's a very releasing posture for the spine. Swap the bind of the elbows, just take another couple of breaths. Great. And then we're just going to do, after the core work, a front opening position, a back bend. So bring the heels close to the buttocks, hip distance apart and parallel. And then inhale, lifting the hips up, trying to keep the big toes towards each other, parallel, pushing through the feet, strong legs. You can either keep the hands pressing down into the mat or lifting up shoulders one at a time, interlacing the hands and pressing the wrists down into the mat. Now breathe the chest to the chin. And you want to take 3 to 5 deep, good quality breaths. Really opening up the front body after the core crunching work. Opening hips, belly, thighs, chest. And then slowly releasing, release the bind if you took the bind, and place the vertebra back on the floor from the upper spine to the lower spine. And just rest for a moment, releasing the sacrum into the mat. A couple of resting breaths. And then the same again, make sure the heels are still tight into the buttocks, feet parallel. Option here to take the arms overhead as you lift the hips up for an even deeper stretch for the upper body. Otherwise you can keep the hands where they were in the previous position. I quite like to take the hands overhead. And there's a further option if you wish to take the heels of the hands forward again to support just above the buttocks, either side of the sacrum, fingertips reaching round for the hip bones, and then do alternate leg lifts, just lifting a leg into the air so we're supported on the elbows and really activating that leg, pushing through the heel, taking 1 or 2 breaths with the leg lifted, and then swapping sides. This is all optional. You can be doing the same as what we did the first time, or you can have the hands overhead, or optional elbow support leg lifts. And then one further option is to take an inversion here by bringing both legs up towards the ceiling if you're supported on your elbows and feel stable. Trying to bring the heels above the hips. Very tendency here is for them to come forward. tricky posture. A lot of weight goes down through the elbows. I'm not quite straight in my version of this, you can see. And then slowly releasing the inversion back down, release the hands, and again with control slowly place the vertebra back down onto the mat from the upper back down to the lower back. Release the sacrum down. Take the feet forward a little bit, mat distance apart, let the inner knees knock together, take the arms away from the side, palms up. Sacral releasing pose, deep breaths here. Breathe into the sacrum, so take your awareness into that bony plate just above the buttocks. Feel it really connecting with the mat, and keep your awareness there as you breathe deep. So it's almost like you're breathing into that sacral space, connecting with earth energy through the sacrum. Opening up the lower back, and then windscreen wiper the legs. So keep the feet where they are and exhale the legs over to the right, so you're rolling onto the edges of the feet. Inhale back to the centre. Exhale to the left. Inhale, centre. And just do a few more rounds with your breath rhythm, trying to keep both shoulder blades on the floor as you move the knees side to side. So the feet stay wide, mat distance apart, and you just take the knees to one side on the exhale. Inhale, centre. Exhale, opposite sides, always rolling onto the edges of the feet. And the knees like windscreen wipers. It's a great massage for the lower back, buttocks, sacral area. And then back to the centre. Take the legs up, take the arms back, palms facing each other, activate the legs, press through the heels, bring the hands forward. And if available, maybe bring the legs slightly closer towards you, trying to keep them as straight as possible and keeping the back on the mat. So you might need to bend the knees here, or you might not be able to come out of vertical legs position. It doesn't matter, just as long as you feel a stretch on the back of the body. And then cannonball, flex the feet, squeeze the inner thighs together, wrap the hands around the front of the shin and bring the head up to the knees. So we're making ourselves tight and small and just holding that for a few breaths. Tight, tight, tight. And then slowly releasing, coming into our final resting posture, our Shavasana. So feet slightly wider than hips, flopping out to the side, arms away from the side with the palms up. Check your alignment, check pelvis, spine, neck and head is aligned. And release the skin of the back of your body into the mat. Feel again, like we started, the support of the floor beneath you. And surrender to that support. Becoming heavy, soft, relaxed, receptive to the fruits of this practice, this releasing practice. So we've done the work, now we receive the benefits. Nothing, no effort required, the breathing happens by itself, the floor supports our body, so we can let go and receive. Check you're not holding tension in your jaw, a little gap between the teeth, eyes rolling back in their sockets, faint hint of a smile on the face. Everything soft, everything relaxed, everything heavy, releasing what we don't need. And then just coming back, deepening your breath, Becoming aware of the body, taking maybe a big body stretch, arms overhead, maybe knees into the chest, just in your own way, rousing yourself back to full wakefulness, nice and slow. We're going to come up to seated. If you have time and you want longer lying down in Shavasana, then please take it, otherwise you can join me coming back to seated and we'll close.